Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's good to be here with you guys today. Yeah, I'm here to make a statement. I'm here to do a show for about an hour. So go ahead and share this with someone if you know someone who's sitting around and getting down, working out, or whatever the situation may be. I'm glad to see you here. Take heed to the messages in the building. Good afternoon, sir. She said, good afternoon to you, Queen. How are you doing today? One of the up and coming content creators. Give it up, take heed to the message. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that music was in my way. All right, giving a shout out to the people who have already came in the room and sat down. Take heed to the message. Said good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon to you, Queen, as well. If you have not subscribed to take heed to the message, please do. She's an up and coming star, a woman who is about family, who puts husband before everything, and who takes care of her children, and who is a woman who has a standard of being what it is to be. So thank you so much. Take heed to the messages in the building. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to donate something to the channel, you know what to do. Hit that button and go ahead and give your boy something to buy some coffee or something. I'd appreciate it if you hit that super chat. If you can't hit the super chat, but you got your phone handy, you can definitely send a cash app to Black Men Unfiltered. It'll be at the bottom of the screen shortly. If you want to feel thoughtful enough to send something to your boy, show some appreciation for the channel. We do a lot of hard work over in this place. All right, guys. Now, as you're coming in, hit the like button, of course, hit the subscribe button, of course. And then after you do that, go ahead and share this with someone and let somebody know that we are in the building today. All right. Now, as you guys can see, I went ahead and put the title is There's Nothing Worse Than a Man Who Won't Take a Stand. Again, for the congregation, there's nothing worse than a man who will not take a stand. And so I want to go ahead and hop right on in that, because I think it's important that we have this conversation today for about an hour or so. The world that we're living in today, ladies and gentlemen, we're living in a world today where we're trying to decide things that have already been decided. There are grown men and grown women who gather on YouTube to have conversations on what is a man and what is a woman and what is this and what is that. I've heard panels where they say we don't even know that there's no difference between masculinity and femininity because everybody carries it. Just because I carry a gun does not mean I'm a great shooter. Just because a man puts on a dress does not make him a great woman. Just because a woman puts on a pair of Dickies and a shirt buttoned to the top like Ice Cube does not make her a man. We are getting stuck in these situations and circumstances on these platforms and in these situations where we're trying to decide what is what. Now, you may ask yourself a question. Why are we doing this? Why are we in the position that we're in, trying to decide who is a man, who is a woman? We're not even trying to understand our children now, because back in the day, we knew how to guide our children. We knew what to say to our babies. We knew how to discipline them in a way that we knew that we wanted to make sure that they were okay and formidable for the world. Today, we're not preparing the children for the world. We're telling the children that you can, that not only that you can make your own decisions about what you want to do with your body, but we're going to support it. We're living in a world today where baby showers from babies who are having babies is celebrated. There are big rooms and ballrooms and civic centers and birthday places and places who rent out places who are telling that are giving women, families are telling girls who are teenage mothers, it's okay to be a single mother. We're going to celebrate it. We can go spend $1,000 Listen to this: $1,000 on a ballroom. We can spend $1,000 on getting a king. A king and a queen chair. But let me correct myself: a queen chair, because at most of these gatherings, the father is not present, but there's a big golden chair for the single mother to sit in with a big belly, and she's becoming a statistic. But nobody is saying anything. What happened to the times where the mothers would pull their daughters to the side and scold them under the fact that you are out of line? What happened to the mothers who put their daughters in line? Now mothers are getting in line with their daughters and doing what their daughters are doing. Now mothers are now competing with their daughters. Mothers are now sleeping with the same men that their daughters are sleeping with. What happened? What does this have to do with there's nothing worse than a man taking a stand? Because a man taking a stand creates a narrative that these things don't happen. I remember growing up, my grandfather was a very powerful man. My sister, my mother, my aunts, and everybody in the family knew he was the patriarch of the family. They knew that they couldn't get out of line in his presence. But now everybody's out of line because men won't take a stand. Men won't take a stand. Men will sit back and be comfortable in toxicity, comfortable in ignorance, comfortable in the fact that they have conformed to a world that women have said is ours now. Yeah. There are men who sit on panels and they agree with women in YouTube, and not only YouTube, that there's men who sit in rooms and at work and sit in places at get-togethers, and they're so scared to stand up to their wives. They're so scared to stand up to their children. They don't have a backbone, and they allow everything. We got men out here who are single that a woman won't touch. We got men out here who make 6 figures a year. They work out every day. They're built like Tyrese, but can't get a Reese's piece because the women are saying that they don't want them. And those are the men who come into these spaces to tear down what we're trying to build. In the chat, if I can get a few amens in the chat, I'll know the church is listening. Give me a 1 and an amen in the chat if you're listening today. There's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand in his community. You see something wrong in your community, the worst thing that you can do to a person, the worst thing that a man can do is sit and watch his community and a culture of his people suffer, and then have everything to say about it, but won't do a damn thing about it. Let me say that again. Let me say that again, because I think the first time my microphone may have muted me. We're nothing worse than a man who will dog out other men and tell men they're not leaders, and tell men that they're not nothing, and tell men that they don't do what they're supposed to do, and tell men they're pookies and ray-rays, and tell men that they're responsible for everything that's going on in the community. And you'll talk about that, but you won't walk it out. You're a man that won't step up to the plate, a man that won't go into your own community and try to fix your own community. There's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand. You sit here and you complain and you complain and you complain and you complain on these panels, and you troll people, or you talk about people, or you look at people differently, and you say something about this person and that person and this person, but I don't see you doing the work. If you ain't doing the work, then what we need to do is we need to start putting these people who troll us or who come among us who don't want to do nothing for us. We need to make sure they're unemployed around us. They don't get no work. They don't get no attention. They don't get pulled up on our panels. They can stay in the chat, because that's all they are, is chatters. It's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand. There's nothing worse than we're sitting here and we have men that come on panels, and we have men that will say, oh, look at Pookie and Ray Ray. Look at them. They ain't nothing. Look at that boy over there who was raised by a single mother. He ain't nothing. He a son husband. Yes, we talk about that. And it's supposed to be talked to, because leaders, all leaders should be able to talk about everything in their communities. They should be able to correct everything in their communities. Kings ran kingdoms. Kings did not run the bedrooms. Kings ran their families. Kings did not run bedrooms, they ran communities. Let's talk. The better life is in the building. Let me get back over here to the chat. I got some people that came in supporting the channel today. Take heed to the message. Thank you for the $5 super chat, sweetheart. I appreciate you so much. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not subscribed to Take Heed to the Message, she's an upcoming superstar in this YouTube street. So make sure you go and support her. Hit the like button, subscribe button over there. Like all her videos. This woman is a great wife. She's in a great family. She knows her place in the family. She's very obedient to the husband and the traditional narrative of what marriage is. Please, guys, go and subscribe to Take Heed to the Message. Don't miss the message. Take heed to the message. Thank you so much for being here. We also have Impress Goddess Spiritual in the building. She said, much love, family. Thank you so much for being here today. Mo's Gaming is in the building today. Thank you so much, Mo, for being here today. Let's talk the better. Black Life is in the building today, Brother Clarence. He said, oh, Lord, who mad? BM, you mad now? No, sir. This is nothing but passion because we have to start correcting ourselves. Yeah. We have to correct ourselves. There's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand. We'll sit here and we'll talk about the men in our community who are dogs, and men in our community who are dragged, and men in our community who are trash. And we'll talk about the women. Yes, I talk about both the men and the women. But then it's amazing to me how much pushback I get when I talk about the attack on our children. Yes. There's an attack on our children. And let me go back to the title. There's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand when you see your child going to school with a black t-shirt on and they're coming home with a rainbow shirt on, and you had nothing to do with the fact that they put the shirt on, but the school decided that they would dress your child for a community, to celebrate a community that your child is not in. There's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand. We can talk about Lily. We can talk about we can talk about Jada. We can talk about Nick Cannon. We can talk about all the celebrities. We can talk about Black Men Unfiltered. We can talk about Take Heed to the Message. We can drag each other all day and talk about our circumstances. But at the end of the day, there's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand when there are men who are dressed like women sitting in a library reading to our children, and there are no men there to take a stand and say this is wrong. When will a man take a stand? There's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand. We'll push back on each other on these things. I've had people tell me, stop talking like that because they're going to come for your job. Stop talking like that because a job is every day. I could go find a job every day. I'm educated in a way that I could go get one. But what we can't get back is our children. And people are saying, well, they're not attacking our children. The reason that they're attacking the children, because the children are the future. Do we remember the lyrics of the song? I believe the children are the future. Teach them willing. Let them lead the way. Let's break down that right there. I believe the children are the future. We already know that the children are the future. It says teach them is the next part of those lyrics. What are we teaching them when there's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand? What are we teaching them? Are we teaching them that it's okay? Are we teaching them it's okay to go to school and change your clothes? Is it okay for our little boys? We play football with them on Sunday and Monday morning. It's okay that they have balloons and in rainbow colors, and your son has to do his favorite dance to support a community that he's not a part of. There's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand. Some of the men out here who won't take a stand, they with a man. But then they play it off. Now, I can appreciate somebody that's in the community. And let me say this. Anybody that chooses to live a life, an alternate lifestyle, that's your business, ain't got nothing to do with me. However, when it comes to my children, we have a problem, problem, because what happens is my children are my children. You live your life, but the life of my children will be taught through me and through what I say. Hit the like button and subscribe button so we can continue this conversation. Go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe button. Go ahead and send a super chat if you want to do that. Go ahead and send a cash app if you want to do that, because I may be a little thirsty after I run this in the ground. Back in the day when the rocket went up into space and they had a malfunction on the ship. They seemed to have had a problem, and because they could look down and they could see everything happening, but they couldn't do nothing about it because they couldn't go nowhere. And so they radioed back and said, Houston, we have a problem. Yeah. So I'm telling you right now, men, we have a problem. We don't stand up for nothing no more. We don't stand up for our children. We don't stand up for our wives. We allow people to say anything to our wives. We allow people to do anything and put anything in front of our children. There's libraries for third graders. There are libraries for kids who are 6 to 8 years old. And in those libraries, there are books talking about how to get sperm out of a penis, how a vagina gets wet, and how sex is involved and how they bang together and how it's supposed to feel good. This is in the library. It ain't for you to teach my kid about sexual things, because maybe that's something the parent's supposed to do, because everybody know everything starts at home. The Bible says, how therefore can you teach the world when your house is out of order? There's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand. Even for the single men out there that don't have a wife and don't have a children, it is your responsibility as a man to lean into not to your understanding, but connect to a higher power, which is God in my reference. And you are to be able to go out into the world and connect with the world, connect with a young man who you talk about, connect with a young lady who you talking about, get a group session together, go to the PTA meetings, sit down at the school board meetings, go and vote for the people who back what you believe. Y'all don't hear me today. Somebody go ahead. I'm going to take a moment right now for this super chat. Y'all go ahead and send a super chat. Go ahead and send a Cash App. And I would greatly appreciate you guys sending that, because that will help me get something to drink after my throat's going to dry up. You see the Cash App at the bottom, after my throat dries up from giving this verbal whooping today. Larita Marzette, I went to school with her, very beautiful girl, and still is. Lord have mercy. Larita Marzette says parents today does not teach their kids. Their kids are learning from the people they surround themselves around. Absolutely. Larita, make sure you share this content with everybody you know. Thank you, Larita, for being here today. Yeah. Parents today don't teach their kids. Let's break down what she said here parenthetically. Parents today does not teach their kids. Absolutely right. Going back to the leader of the family. Who is the leader? Now we're arguing who's the leader of the family. We've had men say women are leaders of their families. That is incorrect. We're saying, who is the leader now? We need to make a decision. We need to sit down at the table and decide who the leader is in the family. It's the man. The man is the leader. The man is the protector. I have men say they hate protecting and providing now. That's not something you should be just focusing on as a man. It is, because I have to provide a house and money, and I have to provide food for their bellies, protection. I have to protect them from any hurt, harm, or danger that's coming from the outside world, inside world, from family, foreign and domestic. What are we talking about? Protection and provision. Yes, that's supposed to be there. Also, it's supposed to be love there, balance of love and affection, and lion and lamb. And I've had my hardships with lion and lamb, because I think in any man, any masculine man who protects and provides for his family has two characteristics, and should have two characteristics, and those should be lion and lamb. Knowing if someone were to harm your children, that you have to be a lion, but when your children and your family or your wife or the person that's next to you needs something, then you go and be a lamb. You can lower yourself to be a lamb and communicate in love. But you have to be a lamb and a lion. You have to be able to go between the two. It does not make you less of a man. It makes you more of a man, because you're more informed about what's going on around you. Being a lion all the time, people keep secrets from you. If I'm preaching today, y'all go ahead and put a amen in the chat, because this is where we are in the world today, and somebody got to take a stand. I don't care if one person watched this live. I don't care if two people watch this live. I'm coming alive, because people are not in their place. There's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand. There's nothing worse than a man who will sit back and do nothing. Nothing worse than a man who is single with no children, won't provide any provision for his community. There's nothing worse than a man who will not take a stand. There's nothing worse than a man who will drag men and drag women, but won't drag the man who's in a dress reading to his children, or drag the man who is making songs and putting them on YouTube and they're singing, "We're coming for your children." There's not no lives about it. Every day on YouTube, we're talking about relationships. Every day on YouTube, we're talking about people who are, let's see, how can I say it? People who are women who are trifling and baby mama drama, and men who are Pookie and Ray Ray and shooting sperm from the moon over to Venus. We'll talk about that, but we won't talk about what's affecting our babies. We won't talk about the fact that our babies are dealing with so much in the world today, and they're passing laws for babies to do what they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it. And some of these kids don't even know what kind of cereal they want in the morning, but you want them to decide their body and what's going on with their body, what can stay on, what can come off. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. That doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. There's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand. There's women out there that right now that are living in houses with men, and men don't have a backbone, and the wife is running the house, and then the man is wondering why he's stressed out and on antidepressants, and you're wondering why your kids are all over the place, and you wonder why your marriage is on the rocks, and you wonder why your house is in chaos, because your woman wasn't designed to be the leader you were. And if she's making you walk on eggshells, you sweep them up, throw them in the trash, sit her down and tell her, "I am the leader of this house. I will provide provision for this house. I will provide vision for this house. I will build structure for my children." You no longer are employed as the leader of this house, but you are the wife of this house. You are to help me with what I need. I don't need you to lead me, because God didn't put you in position to lead. God put you in position to stay by my side while we ride. Come here, somebody. Somebody out there needs to hear this today. Some man is dealing with a woman right now that she wants to be the man. She wants to be the man. She want to take over the house. She want to take over the children. She want to say, "Don't you touch my son. Don't talk to my son like that. Don't talk to my daughter like that." You know how many families out here where the daughters are out being hoes and the mama support it, and the daddy just sit back and conform to the mama because he's scared he's not gonna get none. He's scared she gonna talk about him. She's scared he gotta sleep on the couch in the living room. Where's the real men at today? Stand up right now, because there's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand. I don't give a damn if I gotta sleep on the couch. I don't give a damn if I gotta sleep in the truck. I don't give a damn if I gotta sleep in the parking lot of Only a Buck. I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to tell it to your face. And I don't give a damn if you get mad at me. I don't give a damn what you think about me, because what you think about me don't matter. It's a matter of what I'm saying to you. And if I'm pissing you off enough for you to respond to me, then maybe I'm going to piss you off enough for you to get a backbone and stand up to your wife. It's amazing that it's amazing that people out in the streets, I'm not even talking about YouTube right now. It's amazing that people can go out on the streets and fight a big 300-pound man that you'll never meet again. Oh, but you'll go home and you'll cower to your wife when she tell you to shut up. Shut up and get out my face. Stop talking to me. You don't talk to me. Shut up. Who you think you talking to? I'll put you up at this house. I don't give a damn if she bought the house, you bought the house. If you're married to a woman and y'all living in the same house together, you're the leader of that finances. You're the leader of that household. You're the leader of your wife, and you're the leader of your children. You're the leader of the decisions in that household, because when you die and you go to judgment, for the people who believe, if you die and go to judgment, guess what's going to happen? God's going to hold you responsible for what happened to your wife. He's going to hold you responsible for what happened to your children. He's going to hold you responsible for what your children intake. He's going to hold you responsible for your wife, what she intakes. Oh, I'm trying to preach here today. I'm not trying to be Malcolm X today. I'm only trying to be Black Men Unfiltered today. There's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand. I'm going back to what I said originally. There are men on panels all over YouTube arguing what is a man and what is a woman. They're arguing feminine traits and masculine traits. Well, let me keep it real with you 1 second, because I ain't trying to be comedic here, but I'm trying to be realistic here. Y'all want to decide the difference between a man, and y'all can say a woman has testosterone and she's strong like a man and can do everything a man can do. I dare you one thing: the heavyweight champ of the world in the women's division is Clarissa Shields. I dare to tell you right now, if you want to decide what's a man and a woman, you said a woman can be masculine and fight and do all this other stuff. I guarantee you, let's set up a fight between Deontay Wilder, the ex-heavyweight champion of the world, and Clarissa Shields, and we're going to come to a decision on what a man and a woman is. He will humble her in seconds. Instead of us trying to define what is a man and what is a woman, how about being a man and having a backbone and saying, yes, a man is a man. Yes, a man is a leader. Yes, and stop being scared that people gonna turn their back on you. Stop being scared that your wife ain't gonna give you none. Oh, if I speak up and speak out about my wife's behavior, my children's behavior, oh, she's not gonna give me none. It is your wife's responsibility. Let me go to the Bible for a second. The Bible says, do not deprive your husband from sex unless you both agree. Unless you both agree to pray, or both agree to sustain from sex only for a limited time. And then he says, come back together in sex again, because you don't want your husband to be tempted. A lot of you women out there are making the bed and pulling the sheets back for another woman to get on your husband, because you don't know how to shut your mouth. You don't know how to be quiet. You don't know how to listen to your man. You don't know how to listen to provision with a vision. And now you're wondering in your household, you're wondering, these kids are stressing me out. My husband's staying at work late. Your husband's staying at work late because he's going where he's appreciated, over to the side chick house. I'm not condoning it. He wrong as two boys kissing in the back of a truck headed to Amsterdam. He's wrong. However, I'm not condoning it, but I understand. A man goes where he's appreciated. How the hell can you drive? How can you get in your car and the gas light on, and you're in Louisiana? How is it therefore you can drive to California when your gas light is on? How far can you make it? We need to look at that as perspectives of what a man is. How is it that a man can sit in a household and you expect him to lead and be your man and protect you, provide for you, be your listener, and be the person who comforts you in time of need when he's empty? So many men are married right now that their gas lights are on and they running out of gas and their engine is slowing down and they on the side of the road and there ain't nobody filling them up. Hell, we talking, there's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand. How can he stand up when he don't have the energy from his wife? I'm on your ass today. You got to pour into your man so he can take a stand. It is your job to help that man. It is your job to be there for the man. I'm talking to the wives right now. It is your job to, if you married that man, and you get on the phone with your homegirls and you say he ain't shit, he ain't about shit, he ain't nothing. Well, guess what? You ain't shit either, because the Bible says when you get married, you become one. One meaning one in flesh. That means that you both of you are the same person. God don't look at him no different than he looking at you when it comes to y'all being together and being married. You have a covenant under God that says you're one. So if he ain't shit, you ain't shit either, because you're his helpmate. And if you ain't helping your man and he failing, then you ain't shit. And if he ain't shit, you ain't either. Come on, somebody, come on, put the amens in the chat right now. I need to know you guys are still rocking with your boy. This is ridiculous. It is nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand. Men who hide behind femininity. Men who hide behind just conversation. Men who hide behind feminine conversation. Men who hide behind, you could tell, listen to me. You can tell when a man has got that feminine thing about him because he won't speak about nothing against anything about his community. Oh, yes, we have men that'll sit on panels and say, men ain't this, Pookie, Ray Ray, Keisha, and Contasia ain't nothing. Like, they talk about them all day, but then when you bring up the community that's targeting our children, I'm not saying all of them are, but some of them are targeting our children. You hear a rat pissing on the cotton ball by the back door of the church by the fans. Nobody's speaking up. Nobody's speaking out. When are we going to say, you know what, let's take a break from talking about everything else and let's talk about the mess that our children are experiencing? The world class is in the building today, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you subscribe to him. The world class says sneaky, treacherous, indirect males are the most disgusting. Absolutely. And I want you guys to do your own work. If you don't come on panels, I want you to start coming and watching, not just me, but support all black media. If you want to support all black media, but if you're rocking with your boy, I want you to come to my panel sometimes and watch some of the men who come through. And I want you to see what you see. And I want you to take note of what you see. When I pull people up and I'm going to drop the link and men come up that you don't know, men come up that you do know. I want you to know that some of these men are looking like, why is he talking about my community? I don't want to step up and say nothing because I don't want nobody to know. That I'm in that community, but why is he talking about my community? All the men who push back on talking about a community where some of those people in the community are not good for the community because they're trying to force some down your child's throat. That's not good for them. Listen, we need to start, back in the day, when you went got pills, Tylenol, Advil, Bayer, when you went got pills and when you got penicillin for or antibiotics for your child when they were children, you would go to the pharmacy. And when you went to the pharmacist will go ahead and fill that prescription and he would give you the bag. But when you got home, before you open it up, there's a label on the side of the bottle and a label on the cap of the bottle that says this is for child proof. Make sure it's closed and make sure it's locked so kids can get in it, because if they get in it and they get too much of it, it can be dangerous for their health, can cause kidney failure, can cause sudden death. So make sure this cap is on here to keep your kids from getting in something that they don't supposed to get in. Well, how about we treat the world today just like that cap? How about we be the men who will take a stand? How about we be that medicine bottle? And on the side of our medicine bottle, the kids are the medicine inside the bottle because they are the future. How about we start saying we're going to keep this cap on there and we ain't going to let nobody get inside the bottle, because if they consume too much, it's bad on our children. We got to keep the cap tight on the bottle, because if the kids get a hold of it, it can be harmful to their health. It can be harmful to their minds and sometimes even cause death. I'm tired. I'm upset. Yes, will we continue to talk about the community? Yes, there are men that can do better in our community. They're not doing the right things. Yes, call them out. There are women in our communities who's giving themselves to every man that they believe that likes them. A man bought them a little Debbie cake and they giving them sex. Yes, we need to talk about that. Yes, we need to talk about this attack on our children. Yes, we're going to talk about that. Yes, we need to talk about the millennials. Yes, the Gen X's. Yes, all of it. The baby boomers. We need to talk about all of it. Because I'm under the impression that if we can't talk about everything, we don't need to talk about nothing. Oh, let me say it again. If we can't discuss everything, we don't need to discuss nothing. We need to start cutting everybody off that want to talk about it, want to talk about particulars, but don't want to talk about the majority of things. We need to start cutting them off and cutting them down at the ankles, because we're not just going to focus on Pookie and Ray Ray and Keisha and Conundra. We're going to focus on the community, our children who are in danger, who are targeted by a certain minority of another community. We need to start having the conversations. We're not having those conversations. So right now, before I drop this link, because I'm going to drop the link, and I hope everybody in this chat can come up here and have a word. I want to have I mean this with all my heart. I want to have a moment of silence for all the men who won't take a stand, because you won't be in my circle. I can't deal with men who won't take a stand against anything. Our children are under attack and you sitting there shutting up, not saying nothing. But you want to talk about Pookie and Ray Ray. You want to talk about Keisha and Conundra, but you don't want to talk about the kids. Oh, yes, we're going to talk about all of it, but we ain't going to, like, again, I'm going back to the motto. Somebody put it in the chat so you can remember it tonight in the back of your mind. If we can't talk about everything, we ain't talking about nothing. If you can't come on my panel and talk about when the kids are under attack, don't come over here talking about when Pookie and Ray Ray and Keisha and Conundra. I ain't trying to hear it. So at this time, I want to have a moment of silence for all those men who won't take a stand. 10 seconds. And we're back. We're back, guys. Listen, I'm not over here. I'm not angry. I'm passionate. I'm not going to allow. I'm not going to allow us to just sit here and try to decide what a man and a woman is. A man plants the seed, and in that seed, there's so much life, and that life goes into your helpmate, who incubates the very seed that you have planted. And after a 9-month incubation period, that seed blossoms into life and cries for the first time. And you get to hold that in your arms. I'll never forget my daughter when I held her in my arms for the first time and she grabbed my finger. I knew at that moment that I would die for her, that I would kill for her, that she was everything to me, that she meant the world to me, that I would put my life on the line for her. When I look down at my daughter, I know she was my daughter. I didn't have to decide if this is a girl, is this a boy. I'm not going to raise my daughter to say, hey, listen, when you grow up, you can decide if you're a male or female. That's not happening in my house. All I'm asking men to do today, I'm asking men to be a lion and a lamb. Let me say it again. I'm asking men to be a lion and a lamb. I'm talking to myself, and I'm talking to all the men who are under my voice right now. It's time to be a lion and a lamb. It's time to have communication with your wife and your children. It's time to love on them, but also when it's time to be a lion, it's time to be firm. It's time to be protective. It's time to be willing to put your children in their place. It's time to be able to tell your wife what it is that's going to happen in your family. It's time for men to be lions and lambs. It's time. It's time. It's time. All this playing, yes. Let's play. Let's play. Let's play right now. That's right. That's right. We can play. We can joke around. We can have fun. That's part of being a lamb. But when it's time to be a lion, we got to get ready. How is it that we're talking about submission? And let me say this right here, because these talking points that people say, oh, the talking points, people that I remember Martin Luther King said to the president of the United States when he was alive. He said, why are these people so hurt? Why are they burning down everything? Martin Luther King said these words. He said, he said, rioting is the voices of the unheard. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and condemn men for speaking their pain. No. Because a lot of men, I would rather them speak their pain than act out their pain, because we see what happens in the news where when it says breaking news, man shoots wife, shoots himself. I'd rather him be able to vent than be in prison for the rest of his life for something that took only a split second to do. Men, we have to be lions and lambs. Yeah. I know I'm gonna get some pushback, but I love pushback. I love it, because there's an old African proverb that I want to share with you guys before I drop the link. The old African proverb says, until the lion learns to write, every story will always glorify the hunter. Let me. I'm gonna let that sink in for a minute while it's processing in the back of your front cortex here. The African proverb. Somebody put this in the chat so people can copy and paste. It says, until the lion learns to write, every story will always glorify the hunter. Everybody can say one thing. Everybody can say any man that could take a stand. Any man can say, I make $100,000 a year. Any man can say, I own this, I own that. Any man can say, you men ain't doing this and you men ain't doing this. Any man can say that. But until the lion learns how to write, every story will always glorify the hunter. You may say one thing, but we don't know how you got what you got. Look at the story of the hunter and the lion. The hunter could have went out to find the lion and found the lion dead and drug him in and told everybody, I did it. I took out the lion. But going back to what I said originally, until the lion learns to write, every story will always glorify the hunter. I want to go ahead and drop the link for you guys for a little bit, and we can have a conversation. I would love to have a serious conversation with you. If you're trolling, I'm gonna drop your ass, because I want to make sure that we have a conversation amongst adults today. Yes, we'll have shows where you can come on because we're very comedic at times. You can come on and have a great time with us. But today is not that day. If you want to come up, I just dropped the link in the chat. I'm also going to pin it to the top. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys support the channel as well. You see that the Black Men Unfiltered Cash App is at the bottom. If you want to send your boy 50 cents or $1, go ahead and do that, because you know what that does? It shows me that you appreciate me. I would rather take Cash Apps today. If you want to do that, please. That'll be absolutely amazing. I pinned the link at the top of the chat if you want to come up. Remember, the focus of today is being the lion and the lamb. Be the lion and the lamb. This is for the men. Be ferocious when you need it. Because guess what? If we go to Africa right now, all of us, and took a tour to Africa on a bus, and we all got out and went walking, and a lion came out of the bush, everybody would scream and take off running, because the lion didn't have to tell you he was an alpha. You already felt it when he showed his presence. There's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand. Be the lion, be the man who walks in the room and all the other men respect him and all the other women want him because he is the alpha male in the room. Be the man, be the lion. Be the lion. When you show up, things get corrected. Be the lion when you show up, people that know they're in a wrong position, know they're not in the right place, they find cover because they know the lion's coming. Be that lion in your community. Young men who have single mothers should walk out their houses headed to do the wrong thing, and by the time they pass their mailbox, they should say, you know what, Black Men Unfiltered may be out. Let me go back in the house. The man that walk up to kids and they smoking and vaping and smoking weed, and the man, and I could walk up and my presence alone will make them throw it away. I don't have to get on and say I'm a man, I'm an alpha, because it's in who it's in my presence. I just dropped the link, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see who we got in the chat while we're looking for somebody to come in the back. We got Take Heed. Thank you so much for your support today on this live. I appreciate you wholeheartedly. We got T. Wriggles in the building. Thank you so much, T. Wriggles. You always supporting me, and I want to just shout you out today. Thank you so much. She says, salute and wholeness to you all. I feel you right now, BMU. Thank you so much, T. Wriggles, for being here. KP from KC5 says iron sharpens iron. That is amazing, and that's what the Bible says. That's what we need to go by. We're getting lost in translation with that. Von Bryant is in the building today. Von Bryant says, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness. It's one of my favorite verses. And your feet should with the shod with the preparation of the gospel and peace. Y'all let that sink in for a while. Let that sink in for a while. Let's talk the better life. Black Life says, cooking today, no help needed. Thank you so much for being here today. Let's talk the better Black Life. I appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed over there, make sure you go over to Let's Talk the Better Black Life. Go over there with the OG himself, Brother Clarence, and like and subscribe over there if you have not. If you have not hit the like button and subscribe button, we have 17 likes, 18 right now, and 23 people watching. Let's get it up to 23. If you have not hit the like button. KP from KC5 already put the African proverb there. Until the lion learns to write, every story will always glorify the hunter. Let's see who else we got in here. Oh yeah. Facts. The man plants the seed. Absolutely. Absolutely. Creative. Come on, creative space academic. Hey sis, how you doing? She said facts. KP says salute black man. I'm just going backwards, y'all. I'm being a little dyslexic right now. All right, we have Creative Space Academy says that's all community. I know men in the community who are not with pushing the agenda because that's choice. V's a natural order. He came back right after that and said, we as parents have to talk to our babies about the truth. The world class said, big question is, do these males have children? Some of them do, some of them don't. Men have conformed. Men have conformed with and without children. They have conformed. With a wife, without a wife, they have conformed. We should, for the rest of 2023 and moving into 2024, starting now, we should do hashtag not conforming. Put it in the chat if you're rocking with your boy, hashtag not conforming. We're not going to keep conforming to everything that's getting thrown at us. We don't have to accept anything. We don't have to accept anything. We don't have to go along to get along. Not me. I'll stand in front of 200 people that feel the same way about something. I'll stand right in front of them by myself. And that's why there's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand. That's why you've seen videos on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok of where there's a shooter inside of a Chuck E. Cheese and the men are ducking behind the counters and their children are in the play area. There's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand. There's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand when something's happening to your children. You're ducking and dodging job and moving around like I can't protect my kids because somebody gonna think different than me. Who gives a damn about what people think about you when it comes to your children? Only what you do for your children will last. Yes, you have to provide for them monetarily. Yes, you have to be for them emotionally, but only what you do for your children. We got to stop living for our resumes and start living for our obituaries. I'm gonna say that again because somebody didn't hear it the first time. Sometimes we got to stop living for our resumes and start living for our obituaries. Because what we have to come to understand is that we can't right now. I've been to a funeral. My aunt just passed away a month ago. Shout out to my aunt Sylvia. My aunt had a lot of stuff with her. She had land, she had a house, she had cars. But not one time when we went to the graveyard, I did not see a U-Haul behind her hearse. She couldn't take it with her. There's no U-Haul behind the hearse. She can't take it with you. We got to start living for our obituaries and not our resumes. You can get the bag, but what happens when you get zipped up in one? What will people say about you when you went for the bag, but what are they going to say about you when you get zipped up in one? I've never seen a U-Haul behind a hearse. We got to stop living. I said it again, somebody put it in the chat. Somebody need to copy and paste this. Somebody need to put this on Instagram today. Put it on Instagram, put it on there and say hashtag Black Man Unfiltered. Tell them to like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. You never seen a U-Haul behind the hearse. That's the first one. If you want to put that down, this is for free. And then you got to stop living for, let me slow down. I just had somebody in my Facebook group tell me to slow it down so I can say it again properly. You never seen a U-Haul behind a hearse. That's the first one. Make sure you get it. I'll give you a moment. And we got to stop living for our resume and start living for our obituary. It's amazing. You'll live your whole life. I was just watching the man who died in the submersible down at the bottom of the ocean, looking at us, looking at the Titanic, and I saw that when he passed away and his kids found out that he was dead, I saw a video of them at a concert. Blink 185 concert, laughing and jumping around like he didn't even die. We got to stop living for our resume and live for obituary. It's amazing that you'll have a funeral when you die. You chase the bag your whole life, and at your funeral, there's 4 people there, and your kids didn't even show up because you live for your resume of getting the bag. But nobody cared about you when you got zipped up in one. Ladies and gentlemen, I got somebody in the back. We're going to bring up the world class. We're about to be gone in about 15 minutes, but I'm going to bring up the world class. World class, is good to have you in the building today, man. Y'all go ahead and subscribe to the world class as well. You see it listed under his name in the chat. If you guys could drop that link for the world class, that'll be very much appreciated. Again, thank you so much, KP from KC5. He said, Black Men Unfiltered, donate. Thank you so much for donating. I appreciate you guys for donating. That means a lot to me. I really, really appreciate you. If you want to hit the Cash App today, go ahead and hit the Cash App today. $ Black Men Unfiltered. And I appreciate you all. All right. I want to first bring up the world class is in the building right now. World class, how are you today, my brother? I got your T Wriggles. I'm coming to you right after this. World class, how are you today, man?
I'm jacked up, motivated, excited, ready to win. I appreciate you. What's going on with you today?
Oh man, I'm sunshine, partly cloudy, man, with a chance of thunderstorms today.
That's what I'm talking about.
I appreciate you, man, for being here. Let me go ahead and bring up T Wriggles as well so we can have this conversation together. T Wriggles, you got your YouTube on in the background. I think you got YouTube on in the background. You got an echo.
Yep.
Hold on.
And another browser or on your phone, one of them too.
Oh yeah, he'll come back. Now, the world class, what do you have to say about what you've heard from me today?
First of all, I appreciate it. Appreciate everything you said. I didn't hear everything. I stepped away a couple of times, but like I said in the chat, the one thing I say was probably more dangerous is a covert male. The guys that take indirect positions, or feminine positions, I should say, and those guys that are just they hide their hate and stuff and they come later. But I definitely agree with you with these dudes that don't take any stand. And it's weird that in this space, when you bring up children, you get the most pushback you ever see in this space. Like you get all the debate skills you never knew they had. You know what I'm saying? And I was one of the damn leaders since I've been in this space and had hopped up on a couple of different panels talking about children, talking about the child deletions before Roe versus Wade, over a year before Roe versus Wade was reversed. One of the leaders are talking about, we never talk about men, and we never talk about children. We don't care about children. I'm like, what? So how are you a man? You don't care about children? Like, that's the whole point. You walk around with tens of millions of children in your body. Like, that's the whole point of being a male. Your testosterone is for making children, and they don't never want to get to that part. So I appreciate that part, and I definitely appreciate you acknowledging and highlighting men stop conforming. I was going to start a series on my channel called Unbowed, and I was going to particularly talk about me not conforming, how to not be a conformist, how conformity is really a female thing. Like the two problems between men and women is women are conformists and men are immoral. Like, that's like the fundamental thing between two men. Men just do things that because we feel like we got to do it, or it seems like we got to do it, and we'll just cross the lines. But when women will acquiesce to things that don't make any sense. But nowadays, like what you're talking about, you got men conforming to other men. You got men. The biggest simping that happens is in this space. You see men simping for other men, and it's just disgusting. It's really disgusting, and it's like, when I came to this, I was hollering at another content creator earlier today, and I was like, I thought the goal was to have these conversations to highlight what women are doing wrong, and then having those women go, oh yeah, you know what, you're right, and then let those women talk to them. No, that's not the goal here. The goal here is for a lot of these theta males to replace the females, and they want their turn to tick for tat with the girls, and I'm tired of it. Like, even the one like Shushu that's on this channel regularly, they want to attack like attacking the women that are agreeing with us, or at least having a genuine conversation. And that's what started to pick my like raise my antennas to like, these dudes they really not about anything. They really don't want to accomplish anything. They just here just to be in the way. So when these real conversations come up, like the situation where I was addressing the dude saying that he would marry a 16-year-old, start seeing all these weirdos in his space that just aren't for anything. You just talking because you've never got this much attention. That's why I did a video on COVID. The COVID bonding is, or I'm not, well, the illness bonding is over. That started all of this. That started a lot of the big waves because we were around and linked up with people that we shouldn't be linked up with. And I think that has died off like this year, that a lot of it has been exposed, where when it comes down to the principle, a lot of us are just don't belong with those other people. That's why I just don't even go to the other side of this. I be here, hop on Palmer channel, hop on He Said, She Said channel, couple channels, lucky in them, like that I rock with. And I reduce my exposure because all I'm gonna do is cuss these dudes out and argue with them. And I don't, you know what I'm saying? So it's a waste of time. But fussing with a dude that, again, like you said, ain't gonna stand for a goddamn thing, who you position yourself to have to fall for everything if you stand for nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate a lot of what you said. And like you said, these dudes, man, they won't stand up as men. They won't stand up for anything, but they go home to a man.
Yeah, man, come on. World class. It is, man. It's just amazing to me how these men be out in the, they'll be out in the streets. I'm not even talking about YouTube right now. They'll go out in the streets and they'll pull their chest up and come home and sit in their car for 30 minutes trying to cope with the fact that they got to go in the house and deal with that demon. Yeah. And they won't have a backbone, and they won't in the house full of wrinkles, and they have the iron because you're the man. You have the iron. You're supposed to iron those wrinkles out. You're not supposed to go in the house walking on eggshells every day. Get a broom, sweep it up, and sit them down and tell them what it is and what it's going to be. Yeah, you have to be. There's nothing worse. I'm going back to the subject, brother. There's nothing worse than a man who won't take a stand, brother.
Yeah,
nothing worse. Hey, T. Rickles, what's going on? You muted, brother.
How we doing, man? Thanks.
Awesome.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good, man. What are your thoughts?
How about now?
Yeah, you good. You good.
Man. Thank you for having me on your show, man. I really do appreciate it. And I was waiting for this. I was waiting for someone to start talking about this because I've got a lot to say. I just want everyone to be aware. I think what we're suffering from is we're not identifying with the second form of slavery. And this second one we're all experiencing is the mental one. And everyone knows what happens when you're in an abusive relationship. It's not the physical one. It's the mental one that's sorry for my French, that's the fuck shit right there. That's going to really boggle the mind. So this is what we're going through. You feel me? And so taking the stand, yeah. If we don't, the whole world is done. I just want everyone to know that. Like, it's a wrap. And let me just share something with you, you guys. I wrote something the other day, and maybe someone have said it before, right? But, every time I just growing up, looking at a brother, I always thought that I'm looking at like a guardian, like a guard. And that's when it hit me. I said, wow, God and guard sounds the same. And so growing up, I've always viewed us as, yeah, we're the guardians. And so if we're going to let whatever these powers that be just run amok and take over, we're not being guardians. I think that's why we're here, to mend her, to fix her, to heal her, and to even put her back on the throne, right? Because I can't, there's too many homeless, they're starving. Like, how does a person continue on and you're seeing other people suffer? Makes no sense to me. And so with what you're saying today is, we've got to take a stand, because if we don't, it's a wrap for everyone. And I fall back on that one.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for that as well. World Class, thank you for coming up, man. I appreciate you both for coming up and expressing that. And I just want men to understand, we need to get back to the fact that men holding men accountable in these areas of saying, listen, if we're going to talk about, if we ain't going to talk about nothing, if we can't talk about everything. Because we need to discuss everything at a company. A CEO, he does not come in and just talk about the numbers in the middle of the business. He talk about the numbers at the top. He talk about projections. He talk about where the company is going. He talks about how the people he's going to hire to accomplish that. And when you're a man over your community, over your family, over your children, or your wife, or your whatever your situation is, you have to be willing to stand. You got to be a lion and you got to be a lamb. You got to have the balance of both. You have to have the balance of both. So, man, thank you guys for being here, brother. I appreciate everybody that's in the chat. You guys are amazing. Thank you for. Let me see if I got a cash app over here because I want to make sure I shoot everybody up who sent one. Let me see. I got one here from KP from KC5. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys so much, and you guys have a wonderful rest of the day.
You too, bro.
And I'll see y'all on Tuesday for Talk That Talk Tuesday.
Peace.
All right, peace. Y'all have a good day.
Go. Fire by night and a pillar of vapor by day. Walk through the desert, but when you admire the light, see the villains are paper mache. I'm on the way to the promised land, no contraband. I'm an honest man, I'm coming. Have y'all met me? I'm set free, playing my part like the Red Sea. Man, I'm from heaven, I'm here with my brother in the volumes 11. Now we're getting rowdy. Swing from the scaffolding, spiritual happenings, miracles are all around me. This ain't no balcony, I'm in the front row. My spirit is proud of me, they got the gusto. I'm